My role here is to make sure that all the children who come into the center receive the support that they need after they've initially disclosed to the police officers here. Between my co-director and myself, we make sure that counseling referrals are done, they receive all their court preparation that they need, they meet people here who can continue to provide that support that they need throughout the entire healing process.
My name is Grant Fedoruk. I'm chair of the Zebra Child Protection Center.
So my name's Lynette, and I am a volunteer here at Zebra.
I'm Jessica. I have been at the center since April 2014, and I volunteer as a child advocate and court accompaniment.
So my name's Stephen. I'm a child advocate here at the Zebra Child Protection Center.
My name's Alana Barron. I actually started off as a practicum student, and then I moved into a volunteer position, and I've been here since about 2011.
My name's Sarah, and I'm a court accompaniment advocate at the Zebra Centre. I spend my time going to court with the children and with the families and supporting them through the whole process.
My favorite Zebra moment is every year at the Zebra Child Protection Center's Christmas party, kids' Christmas party, and Santa comes and arrives, and you see these children for the children that they are, and not for the series of things that have happened to them in their lives, but just for that moment. And there was one year in particular, Santa arrived in a helicopter. And we were standing there at the window, and the magic of that moment, the magic of Santa in itself, but also the magic of that moment of having everybody in that room, realizing that these children are being children again. That's a moment that sticks out in my heart. It's a moment that sticks out in my mind. It's one that I remind myself of every day when we come to work.
Mom was with these two little girls, and they were little sisters, and basically they were terrified. They didn't know where Dad was. They were still scared of Dad. They didn't know if he was going to find them. They didn't know what was happening. They were just scared. So we brought them some lunch just to kind of calm them down and make them feel better, and just to kind of make them feel more comfortable in general. And then after they had something to eat, they were interviewed. Their mom was interviewed. And then while they were there, the one little girl who was the older sister, she wrote up a poem about the police officer. She liked to sing and write poems. And so I actually have the poem that she wrote. So it says, police officers, give us some care. We know that you will always be there, even when it isn't fair. You'll come in a flash and take us out. We want you to know that you have a hard task and that you're a good police officer that gives us no task. And it was so sweet, and we actually got the little girls to frame the poem that they did. And both the police officers still to this day have it on their walls. And I actually have a copy because I was a child advocate, and I had it in my desk, and I still have it with me to this day. And when they were all said and done, they were like whole new girls. They were excited, and they basically skipped out of the center. We got them backpacks, which is another amazing thing that Zebra does, which is we go and make individual backpacks for the kids. And we get them, if they have a favorite color, we'll make sure that the clothing in the backpacks are, say, purple. We'll add a blanket to it, a teddy bear, maybe a book or something that they can do, like puzzles or books or whatever it is. And so both little girls had a backpack, and they were so proud. They had it on their backs, and they skipped out of the center. And it was something I'll never, ever forget. They were amazing, resilient little girls.
We were in court a couple weeks ago, and the accused had pled guilty, and Mom and her daughter were just in tears. They were so overwhelmed. It was a really great day. And she pulled me aside and she hugged me, and she said, without your support, we couldn't have got through today. And I think in that moment, that was one of those, this is why I'm doing this. And it was amazing.
We have the children come in, and typically when they come in, they're nervous, they're afraid, and rightfully so. Court can be a frightful experience for anyone, especially if you're a child. Getting to sit with them, getting to know them, helping them progress through their fears, and seeing them go from afraid and anxious to strong and confident, and watching them step out of the Zebra Center doors, ready for court, ready to to do what they need to do and not be afraid anymore, that's why I come back.
We were sitting in the waiting room at the courthouse, and we were talking about a man who had been sitting out in the hallway for the best part of the day, and that he was just waiting to go into court on another matter. And all of a sudden, a little girl got up and went over to our basket of snacks, and she took the snacks out into the hallway and gave them to the man. And I was just so amazed that in the midst of all her stress that she was able to think about somebody else and put somebody else before herself. The other moment recently, we've started to take dogs into the courthouse, which have been absolutely wonderful for helping the children to calm them and de-stress them. And it's just been amazing to see the kids as they come out of the courtroom and they're stressed, and they go back and they just lie down on the floor and cuddle with the dogs, and just to see the comfort that they get has been incredible.
So I was doing a care call with a family, and they had been experiencing a lot of difficulty getting the accused in custody, and that was a real concern for the family. And I was on the call to let them know that the accused was now in custody, and the dad just broke down on the phone and just thanked me. I don't think I've ever been thanked so many times for anything before in my life. That was just the best news for that family in that day, and it was great to be able to provide that.
It was what we call a crisis call. So we had a little 5-year-old girl come in, and she had to come in after hours. We had to work pretty quick because she ended up having to go to the hospital when she was all done. She had finished her interview, and the detectives were currently talking to her mom. So she and I were sitting in the playroom, and we were having some craft dinner because it was late and we were hungry. And she turned to me and she's like, "Sam, what are you going to be for Halloween?" And I was like, "Well, sweetie, I haven't thought about it yet." And she's like, "Well, I'm going to be a tiger. And you're going to come to my house, and you're going to be a tiger, and we'll be twin tigers." So at the end of that night, I was able to remember that it didn't matter what she said in the interview room. That terrible story she had to come in and talk about wasn't what she was going to be taking out of here. What mattered to her was that she was able to hang out with somebody, and we could talk about being twin tigers, and we built a fort, and we watched Strawberry Shortcake, and she left with a smile on her face.
There's never a day that I would leave here that I was ever sad.
The love that you see here is unexpected and more than I've ever seen anywhere else.
What better place to try to make a difference than in the lives of those children that are most vulnerable in our society?
This isn't really that hard. It's just a kid, and we're just going to talk.
I think that my favorite part about working at Zebra is that families are allowing you into the most vulnerable time in their lives.
People always ask me how I can do this kind of work, and my answer is always, I don't think I could not do this work anymore.